All right, I will call the Transportation Committee meeting of January 5th, 2021 to order. Physical quorum is not present. However, pursuant to Section 7E of the Open Meetings Act, members are permitted to attend remotely. In-person attendance and public comments are allowed, subject to attendance limitations required to ensure health and public safety of those who attend. We have a roll call, please.
Chaplin. Here. Clark.
Here.
Krajewski. Ozog.
Here.
Chalsky.
Here.
Day.
Here.
All right, we do want to welcome all the new members. I always think transportation is an exciting community to be on. Look forward to working with my vice chairman, Mary Ozog, who's very passionate about transportation issues. So welcome aboard. Dawn, thank you for serving on as well. You know, we have one of the greatest heads of our department we can have in Chris Snyder, so no one works better than him. So we're very fortunate and lucky. So that being said, I think we now go to public comments. I mean, the roll call. Do we need a roll call?
For public comment? No.
No, just do no. Did we do a roll call?
We did not do a roll call. We should do a roll call.
So then we have no public comment. We do have a presentation, and that's transportation. We look ahead. And Chris, do you want to take care of that for us?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Chairman Pachalski. And if we can bring that up on the screen. So again, echoing what Chairman Pachalski said, good morning and welcome to all of our members, both new and returning members to the Transportation Committee. Since we do have new members, that'll be a good opportunity to provide an overview of the Division of Transportation, as well as the interaction between DOT and this particular committee, with an emphasis on kind of a 2021 look ahead. So quick overview of DOT. I won't talk about everything on this page, but I do want to highlight a couple items. The first is our mission: construct, operate, maintain a reliable and safe transportation network for all users. That includes motorized and non-motorized users. A couple key things I want to focus on is we're responsible for 970 lane miles of county highways. So to put that in perspective, a 4-lane road, 1 mile is 4 lane miles. Another perspective is 970 lane miles is the equivalent of maintaining a single lane of traffic between here and Denver, Colorado. We are the Division of Transportation. We are not a highway department. So again, we are multimodal. In addition to the 970 lane miles of highway, we are responsible for 350 miles sidewalks, paths, and trails, including the Prairie Path, Great Western Trail, and the Southern DuPage Regional Trail. Finally, I want to talk about our winter operations. We do operate 24/7. I do want to commend and acknowledge the great effort by our maintenance team when it comes to snow and ice removal, ensuring our roadways are safe and passable for all users. Again, if you think about this past weekend and the 970 lane miles, think about how many times we went to Denver, Colorado, and back, maintaining our system throughout this weekend. Next. DOT organization, we have 102 employees. I'm not going to go over in detail. This represents our leadership team. We are functionally organized in separate and distinct, but interrelated functions, including maintenance, planning, engineering, traffic, and finance. So what's listed there is kind of our leadership team for your reference. Next. This is just a summary of our FY21 budget that was approved in November. Again, our budget was $63.5 million. We do not get any of our revenue from the general fund. We are funded solely by motor fuel tax, county or local gas tax, which, as you recall, was increased in November, as well as an impact fee. The budget that you see there, $63.5 million, does not reflect the increase in local gas tax. So that will not go into effect until July of later this year. And so that'll be reflected in future budgets. I do want to emphasize, if you look at our budget, the emphasis area is capital, 46+ million. And again, that gets at what our core mission is, and that is to construct, operate, and maintain our transportation network. Next. Two main things that this committee will see on a regular basis: procurements and agreements. On the procurement side, all the methodologies are listed. As appropriate, we will reach out to Finance Department procurement to discuss the appropriate methodology to procure a particular service or item if it's not clear. I've listed in summary, we have 2 categories, both non-capital and capital. I will go into detail, but the major ones that this committee will see are shown. I do want to talk a little bit about professional services. We do use a qualification-based selection system following state statute and our county ordinance. It is something that's a department lead. And so as part of the annual budget cycle, we will identify professional service needs for the upcoming year. As a matter of fact, the budget includes a 5-year outlook of capital improvements. So those needs are listed in there. Our solicitation is about 4 times a year on a quarterly basis. We do use a web portal. We do rely on IDOT pre-qualification of firms for what we do, whether it's engineering service, materials testing, geotechnical, you name it. As part of our solicitation, we will let potential offers know how they will be evaluated. We include both the criteria and the weighting. Typical criteria might include technical approach, the firm experience, the capacity, as well as we have introduced a DBE requirement in terms of our selection criteria. For DOT, the selection committee is made up of our senior staff. That includes myself, my chief engineer, traffic engineer. So we're responsible for reviewing, shortlisting, selecting, and ultimately negotiating with the most qualified firm a contract that we'll bring forward to this committee and ultimately to board, depending on the dollar threshold, with a recommendation to award. The other item is agreements. The other major items you'll see, these are typically intergovernmental agreements, and they typically revolve around capital projects, defining both cost participation of our partner agencies, roles, responsibilities, or long-term maintenance responsibilities. Next. In terms of 2021 look ahead, some things that'll come before this committee. With the passage of the 21 budget, we are now in the process of compiling our FY21 construction program. So this will be distributed to all board members as well as posted to our website for the public. That should be later this month. Our long-range plan has come to a little bit of a halt, but that's for a good reason, and that is we've got an increased revenue source. That is with the increase in the county option motor fuel tax. We now are going to go back and revisit the financial projections and bring that to this committee for review and approval before we finalize the plan, which will include specific projects, strategies, or initiatives that will be included in the plan. We have migrated toward an online permitting system. Companion with that, we are updating our permitting ordinance. We are looking at our peer counties as well as best practices. Our impact fee program, we do assess an impact fee to either the new or redevelopment of properties within DuPage County. So we are looking at bringing that more up to date and a little more flexible, looking at how we can spend the money within districts as well as eligible projects. And finally, on the major initiatives, as you might recall, in the fall of this year, we got a nice update from the consultant we had hired to evaluate the business enterprise program, kind of that first step, Colette Holt. We got a good update on kind of a self-evaluation. So FY21, we'll look at next steps for moving forward that program. On the regional side, I do want to say DuPage County is represented regionally. From the chairman to myself and many of the DOT staff, we sit on the CMAP, the DuPage Mayors and Managers Working Groups. Our own chairman, Pachalski, sits on the ONCC, which is the O'Hare Noise Compatibility Commission. And John Loper, our chief planner, sits on SOC, which is the Suburban O'Hare Commission, which all deal with noise surrounding O'Hare. And finally, on grant opportunities, we'll bring those forward to this group as they become available, whether it's congestion relief, safety, bridge, bike ped. Next. And with that, I thank you. Always, Chairman Pachalski is more than available to answer any questions any of you may have. I'm always available to talk about DOT. I love talking about it. It's a great place to work for and to talk about whether it's DOT, agenda items, or any issues you have with your constituents. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chairman Pachalski for questions.
Did anybody have any questions? Okay, Dawn.
You're muted.
I am new to this committee and I welcome the challenge of learning everything new about this committee. One of the problems I have, Chris, or challenges I have, are all of the acronyms associated with this committee. So is there a way you can go through that presentation again? Not verbally, but in the email that you sent to us, you sent us a second version of that presentation, and write out all of the acronyms for me.
Absolutely.
So I can start getting up to speed on all of the acronyms.
Of course, I'll send that to everybody in the group.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you, Chris.
I'll send it ASAP.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And there will be a test next meeting, Dawn, on all those acronyms.
Excellent.
Anybody else have any comment or question on the presentation? Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. I think presentations are very vital to this committee. And I always like everybody going forward, knowing what's going on with everything. So we want to be more open and transparent in presentations. This board should know everything that's going on, and we've always been that way. So that takes us to the agenda item 5. I have a motion to approve the minutes of the December 1st, 2020 transportation meeting.
So moved.
We had motion by
I'll second.
Mr. Chaplin, a second by Vice Chairman Ozog. Any changes, alterations, or corrections? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have
No,
it.
no, no.
Roll
Roll call.
Oh, we have to do a roll call. I'm sorry.
Chaplin. Aye. Broussard.
Aye.
Ozak.
Aye.
Chowski.
Aye.
Day.
Aye.
All right, that passes. Next, under the consent items, may I have a motion to combine the 6A and B under the consent agenda? We have a
So
roll-
moved, Chaplin.
Second to start.
All right, we have a roll call, please.
Chaplin. Aye. Broussard.
Aye.
Ozak.
Aye.
Chowski.
Aye.
Day.
Aye.
All right, that passes. Now I may have a motion to approve agenda items 6A and B, and maybe a roll call motion, a second on that?
So moved. Chaplin.
Second?
Second, Zay.
Okay, good. Any questions? We have a roll call vote, please.
Chaplin. Aye. Broussard.
Aye.
Ozak.
Aye.
Chowski.
Aye.
Day.
Aye.
All right, that passes. Next, we're under 7, which is amending resolution. May I have a motion to approve amendment to DTR 44A19, amendment to a resolution as to a letter of agreement between the County of DuPage and Commonwealth Edison for improvements along Gary Avenue from Army Trail to the Great Western Trail to increase the county cost $87,851.32, which results in an increase of 68.61%.
So moved, Chaplin.
Second,
Second, Zay.
are there any questions?
I did.
I see Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, Chris, can you explain this? I know we had many discussions on this. This isn't District 6, but I know we had so many delays with ComEd. Are we paying for these delays? I mean, it took them forever to get out and move the utility poles on this.
Right, actually, members, with this particular project, it's unique in that when we built the trail, there was a section where ComEd had prior rights and actually owned the right of way that our trail was going to go through. Unfortunately, that included one of those major green electrical boxes. So they gave us an estimate. They thought they were going to do it in-house. They actually had to do it out-house through a construction as-bid contract. So this reflects the bid unit prices, but it also reflects the fact that a lot of the underground work, underground materials, conduits, wiring that they thought they were going to be able to retain, they were unable to. So they ran all new conduits, wiring, and actually shifted the electrical box. So this is the unique situation in which ComEd had the prior rights, and we unfortunately our path had to go through their electrical box.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chris.
My understanding was it was the cables and the wiring that was a significant portion of this. It wasn't anything other than that. We thought the wiring and cabling would be able to use.
Yeah.
And it turned out once we did our due diligence that it was not, that's the majority of this increase.
Yeah, the increase is that, and again, they also had to go out for it was too big of a project for them to do in-house. And so there was some, it did go out for bidding.
All right, anybody else have any further questions? If not, we have a roll call vote.
Chaplin. Aye. Broussard.
Aye.
Ozak.
Aye.
Chowski.
Aye.
Day.
Aye.
All right, that passes. I think we have nothing under old business. Is that correct, Chris?
That's correct.
And nothing under new business. And Mary, you still have one more minute before public transportation. So without objection, we stand adjourned.
Thank you, Chairman Polcharski.
Thank you. We're working with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.